Yes, the sounds of Sonata Arctica there with I Want Help. Before that, Primal Fear and Armageddon here on Blue Please. This is with, of course, Total Biscuit. No one else, it's not the Murloc, and no, the Murloc is not controlling me. As some people are accusing me in the channel of being unable to control the Murloc. No. It's fine. I'm not being mind-controlled or coerced into anything. Of course not. Okay, a few shout-outs to go out before I get on with the show. A shout-out to, how the hell do you spell that? Shaorin, possibly, who is 3k rep off getting an undead epic mount on Defiance Brotherhood. Awesome. A shout out to X-Ronjay, he's from Violet Noise, EU. Apparently, if I don't give him a shout, he'll nag me in guild chat for the rest of my WoW days. Oh dear. Okay, a shout out goes to Wolfos, who's just spent 7 hours in Molten Core and now wants to get his mind back. You listened to the wrong show if you want to do that. Shout out to Lizzle for returning to the White Rose Guild. That's from Freak Wave. A shout out to Locutus from Elandra, if that's how you really pronounce it. You are silly bastard for changing servers. Oh. A shout out to all Night Elf engineers out there. That's from Luku. A shout out to Eldini. That's from Kaltusk. Let's see, a shout out to Masalio, just for the sake of it. A shout out to Replica on EU Dark Sorrow for getting Ragnaros down. Congratulations. Shout out to Beer, that's from Airy because Beer is so epic. Agreed. A shout out to Shalindria, the sexiest Oompa Loompa in WoW. That'd be awesome if you do shout outs. I do. That's from Tom Smug. A shout out to TB for finally convincing me to drop Paladin to play Mage. Just hit level 14. Rock on. Okay. Let us get on with the show. Now, what else is coming in this patch? I just talked about mages for 15 minutes, and the point I was trying to make there is that there is no bad class in WoW, as long as you know how to play it. Now, it's not to say that all classes are perfect. Of course not. The new Soul Shard bag thing is ridiculous. Why should Warlocks have to use a bag to carry Soul Shards when it would be far easier just to make the damn thing stackable in the first place? Not that that would solve the problem of having to have Soul Shards, which I totally disagree with, I might add. Sorry, I'm going to go off topic for 1 second and say, who thought that was a good idea? So, you were coming up with classes beyond the basic few, warrior, priest, mage. So he said, okay, how can we make this different? Well, we can give them a pet. Oh, yeah, but they're night hunters now. Oh, we'll give them soul shards. So that the most powerful spells require a reagent. Oh, so their powerful spells are going to be more powerful than everyone else's. No, they'll be just the same. So what you're saying is that they've got spells which are just the same as, say, a mage spell. Like with stuff like Shadow Burn, it's like the same as Fire Blast, etc. But you have to use a reagent to cast them. Eh? Who thought that was a good idea? Now, I can understand it for the stuff like summoning demons and portals and that kind of thing. We've got to use reagents for portals. So, using a reagent for a ritual of summoning is fine. Using a reagent to summon a demon, okay. Using a reagent to cast a spell that is very handy in PvP. Yeah. Is all I've got to say about that, and that's not even a sentence. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah, back to the topic at hand. The point of the matter was, Paladins! Right, I know nothing about Paladins. I know how to fight them, but I don't know how to play them. But some of you know, no doubt. So, it's working! Yeah, it's working! It's working as intended, baby! Or is it? Paladins are getting a major rework in 1.9. Serious major rework in the same way that every other class before it has, i.e., well, druids and hunters, really. The warrior and warlock shaman. Warlock shaman? What's a warlock shaman? The warriors and warlock changes were a little bit half-arsed. Hunters and druids were more complete talent reworks. Paladins are getting changed. I don't understand paladins. Some of you do. I want to hear what you have to say. If you were to rework a paladin, how would you do it? Email themurloc@gmail.com. For this week's Working as Intended. How would you fix the Paladin? Would you do everything that Blizzard's just done in the 1.9 patch notes? Would you, in fact, do nothing at all? Would you leave it as it is, or would you change it? How would you change it? We shall see. Okay, I'm going to leave that topic for now and let you lot rack your brains for a little bit of information. Back to the patch notes. What else is there interesting in the patch notes? What's going on? Why should we even care? Raid calendars. This is a big change for high-end raiding guilds. Most of you will be aware that stuff like Molten Core is on a cooldown, so that once you kill a boss in Molten Core, the instance is saved to you. So if you were to go back in, you would have the same instance. That boss would be dead, still. The mobs would probably have respawned because they're on a 2 or 3 hour timer, but the bosses are dead. And if you kill Magmadar in Molten Core, the Ancient Core Hounds, they don't respawn. If you kill Gar, the Lava Surges don't respawn. Unfortunately, if you kill Golomag, the Giants do respawn, but, well, there you go. What's the logic in it? To stop it being farmed. Your epics are supposed to be epic. Yes. I did say epic. They're supposed to be epic, so you're not supposed to have a whole bunch of them, and they're not supposed to be easy to get. That's the difference between commons, uncommons, superiors, and epics. And, of course, legendaries. That's the difference. So, that's the reason for a cooldown. To stop people farming it hard. But they farm it anyway. Now, there are two major changes here. The first change is this. Molten Core will be reset every 7 days. And currently it's on a... Please say that I've got this right. 6-day cooldown. I believe. Blackwing Lair is on the same. A 6-day cooldown. However, that cooldown starts when you kill a boss. What's the difference? The difference is this. It's not going to do that. If you start on, say, a Thursday at 8 o'clock and you kill a boss at 9, and say it was on the 7-day cooldown that they're proposing right now, it wouldn't reset until Thursday at 9 o'clock next week. However, the resets are going to be static. They will be reset during weekly maintenance. What does that mean? That means that if you were to start a Molten Core raid 3 hours before weekly maintenance, you finished 1 hour before weekly maintenance, you killed the boss, you left, when you came in tomorrow, that instance would be gone and you'd be on a clean slate. Why? That is a very good question. I'm trying to follow Blizzard's logic here and work out why this is. What are the benefits? What does it change? What is going to happen here? Let's take the most simplistic thing first. 7-day cooldown on Molten Core and Blackwing Lair. Whereas before it was 6. So what's going to happen there is that there's going to be less farming. You can't do it every 6 days, you can do it every 7. It's going to slightly reduce the amount of epics that are coming out of there. It's going to frustrate some hardcore guilds, perhaps. What it is going to do, though, it's going to open up areas in a raiding guild's weekly calendar to do anchorage. Notice the logic there. I heard guilds complaining that they wouldn't have time to do anchorage. They didn't have enough nights in the week. By extending the cooldowns, you open up spaces for anchorage to be done as well. Admittedly, it's going to get to a point where you're not going to have enough spaces and you're actually going to have to choose. That'll be cool. I agree with that. The idea of having to choose which instances you do rather than having a simple linear progression from one to the next would be nice. I would appreciate that. And it will happen. But not yet. Now, stuff's going to be reset during weekly maintenance. I don't see the logic in that, to be quite honest with you. I've had a think. I've been sitting here thinking, what are the benefits? Is it because it's a easier way of doing things for Blizzard? Is that why? Is there some kind of bug issue that we've got to deal with? Is this why it's being reset in weekly maintenance? It's a tricky one. If you've got any ideas as to why this is going to happen, and this is specifically referring to the cooldown resets, email themorlock@gmail.com. I'd like to hear from you, because this is one thing that's got me very, very stumped. I can't think of a logical reason for it. Now, Skylay's just said, a constant day for a raid is better than switching. Why? That's the question. Why? Why is it better? Some raids and some guilds would prefer to raid on certain nights. You can't expect them to necessarily raid at other times. Is this going to make a difference to them? Possibly. I mean, they're going to have to rework the schedules around this. There may be another reason for it that I do not know about. There is very little explanation in the patch notes as to why. It just says, this is what we're going to do. Okay. Fair enough. But why? If you can think of any answer to that whatsoever, email themorlock@gmail.com. We shall discuss it in good time. Okay. Now, the rest of the patch is pretty much your standard kind of stuff. It's what you'd expect from patch notes. Bug fixes, balance changes, and all that kind of jazz. A big class rework. Okay. A new instance. Yep. Linked auction houses. Yeah. Now, this is just one point I want to address before I go to the next music break. Linked auction houses. Okay. That's fair enough. However, that is not necessarily going to make people use cities more. Orgrimmar is the central hub. I'm not going to be in Thunderbluff because it's out of the way. There are less people there. If I want to get a group, I go to Orgrimmar. I don't go to Thunderbluff because there's no one there. I don't go to the Undercity because it's really horribly designed and bleh, it's full of green slime. It's unhygienic. This is not going to increase the use of cities. What it's going to do is going to give a handy way if you happen to be passing through to check auctions. But you're not specifically going to go there. It's not going to happen. But, again, just like the whole dressing room feature, it's a feature which is going to have some limited use, and I'm not complaining that it's getting put in the game. And no doubt it's not exactly taken a lot of effort to put in there. Now, I'll be discussing multiple battleground queues after the break, or trying to. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Perhaps it's time for a little bit of Ensophyrum. It's epic, it's slightly folky, and it's quite difficult to understand. This is a tale of revenge.